Hey, what's going on, guys? I am at the mall and I'm waiting on my wife to come out of the store. And it is always dreadful, but I don't mind chilling out. I'm getting ready. The convention starts very soon, and we're going to meet in Orlando. So the link is in the bio if you want to come down to the convention. It's going to be really good. We have over 60 speakers. 60. We've never had that many before. And we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be really awesome. So anyway, how y'all doing today? What's going on with y'all? So this mall, look at some of the stores. They're very expensive stores. You can see they have Armani and Johnston and Murphy and Calvin Klein. And let me tell y'all, when I go to the mall, I don't buy shit. You know, I can afford anything I want here. I just don't. It's like, you're not gonna sell me a $90 pair of jeans. Like, jeans should not be $90. I just can't do it. You know, why did you come to Orlando? Because we wanted to be in Florida, where there weren't going to be COVID restrictions like there are in New York and LA and San Francisco. I personally believe that they're overdoing it. They're panicking, and I'm tired of living in my basement and not being able to go outside. Hey, what's up, artist? How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, I don't buy any of this stuff. I mean, you know, I if I see something I like and I really want to get it, I'll get it. But you know what I bought? Let me show you what I bought. This is what I bought at the mall. This is it. I'm not a guy that needs a lot of flashy stuff. And the thing is, I already have enough nice clothes at home. I don't need another pair of fancy shoes or another nice suit. I get all that. How are you, Alberto? Good to see you. Yeah, so I saw a line at the Gucci store or something. And apparently what they do with these luxury stores is they'll make you wait outside just so that you will want to come inside, because you'll see other people waiting outside. They do that like the club, so they kind of create this artificial demand, because people tend to want things that they can't have, or they want things other people want, because most people don't know how to think for themselves and they just kind of follow the crowd. And I encourage you not to do that. Some of us go to the mall for the good lighting. Really? Well, I don't mind this. You know, this is a nice trip. My wife and I did a fast this week, and I lost some weight. Get ready for the convention, clear my head. It was hard as hell, though. Oh my God, I was eating bird food for 4.5 days straight. And but it was worth it. It was worth it. After I got done, I got a big ass cheeseburger and fries, and that probably wasn't the best way to celebrate ending my fast, but I don't give a shit. Let's see. Enjoy you, live your best life. We should all live our best life. You know, you should find your best life and live it. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To pursue happiness, you must know where the happiness resides for you. And in order for you to know where it resides, that requires knowledge of self. And then once you get knowledge of self and you know where the happiness resides, then you're free to pursue it. And to pursue it, that's where freedom comes into play, like financial freedom and other types of freedom. If you are a free man who has knowledge of self, or a free woman who has knowledge of self, then you are probably going to be happy, because you will be able to identify where happiness is for you, and you will have the freedom to pursue it. A lot of people don't even know what makes them happy. They don't even know. They're unhappy. They don't even know why they're unhappy. They don't know what's going to make them happy. They think that fancy stuff, the stuff in these stores, the Gucci and the Calvin Klein and all that, they think that's going to make them happy. They think a Lamborghini is going to make them happy. They think the right job is going to make them happy, or the right relationship. No, happiness does start inside. It's a decision to find your bliss, find your happiness, find out what is going to make you tick, and some people, maybe they can't do it. Some people do it better than others. Maybe that's why some people need medication, but I found that for myself, happiness was inside. It was basic shit, like, knowledge of self, self-love. Self-love is big. You know yourself, and then you love yourself. You dig to find out what's there, and then you love what's there, and then, and just kind of making a choice. Optimism, basic optimism. I'm very optimistic about everything. Every day I wake up and I just remind myself that how infinitely powerful I am, how I, the power of everything from forgiveness to the pursuit of happiness. The world is available to you if you want it, and that's a choice to internalize ideas that are going to empower your existence. You can't pull in ideas and thoughts that are going to deflate the opportunity that God gave you to be special, be great, and all these other things. So I don't know. I guess I didn't expect to end up talking about happiness, but maybe it's because I'm in this mall with all this material stuff that it makes me reflect on that. By the way, if you want to know about the convention, the link is in the bio. Also, my YouTube channel, the courses in the Black Business School. We have a lot of good courses and programs. If you want to take a look at any of those, we have a lot of good stuff there. So feel free to take a look at that. We just got property in Atlanta. We have a house down there, and also we put a Black Business School outpost in the Black House. Jay Morrison built the Black House, and it's a beautiful building. So we put Alicia and I have an office in the Black House now, and that's just something that you guys should know if you live in Atlanta. I will be down there doing things in the ATL. Next time I'm in Chicago, can we grab a cup of coffee? Well, if you come to one of my events or something, we can sit down or something, man. But I honestly I don't even want to make a promise I can't keep. I barely got time to keep up with my woman and my kids, man. I'm telling you, bro. Let me see. Yup, just like the club, a bunch of sheep. Yeah, I never went to the club. I never wanted to. I was in college, and everybody would go to these parties, and I went to a couple of these parties, and I was like, this is stupid, this is boring. These people, even the people that are here, they ain't having no fun. They're just sitting around. You can't even have a conversation. But I think people are just built different, right? Some people want really good discussion, like good like a rich, meaningful, deep conversation is really fun for me. That's so much better than going to the club. Maybe for some people, they just want to hear the latest, Drake album and have a drink at the bar, and and that's fine if that's what they want to do. That's never been something that worked for me. But then again, I'm convinced now that everybody's intelligence is not the same, and I think that's just all it is. That's why some people think you're being arrogant when, I always thought everybody wanted to be intelligent. So, some people said that they thought that was arrogant, that I think we should be intelligent. So I don't know what people think about it, but I that's fulfilling. I guess you got to find your own bliss. Let me see here. I'm looking at some of your questions. Can you mentor me, sir? Well, I can mentor you from here. I do have a life class that's totally free. It's Black Keys to Greatness. You can join that, and every Wednesday night, as a free gift just to anybody that wants to participate, we are breaking down and analyzing Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Black Labor, White Wealth. We're halfway done with that book. After that, we're going to jump to Powernomics. Then we're going to go through the Black History Reader. Then we're going to go through Dirty Little Secrets 1 and 2. So Dr. Anderson, he's going to be at the convention. He gives his regards. I talked to his wife this morning, and as you know, I respect the guy immensely. Let's see. Judge Joe Brown was advocating for black people to take the jab. That's okay. That's his right. I respect Judge Brown. I don't think, I don't really get into trying to get mad at people for what their personal opinion is, So I think, I think that's a reasonable assessment, I mean, a lot of people feel like the jab is okay. I don't feel like it's necessary. I'm not saying that it can't help. I just think there's too many there's too many unknowns about, because I feel like we're at the beginning of the pandemic. I don't know if y'all saw that, but there's a Delta Plus variant out now. So it's like there was Delta, then they started going down the letters of the alphabet. Now they got the plus. So it's like the LGBT plus. There used to be LG, like gay, lesbian, then it was LGBT, then it was LGBTQ, then it was LGBTQ, ABC 1, 2, 3, XYZ plus, right? So basically, I feel like you're gonna have that when it comes to these pandemics. I don't know if any of y'all saw that that they actually admitted, Dr. Fauci's crew in the National Institutes of Health admitted that they were funding what they call gain of function research, where they were trying to make these viruses kill more people. And they kept asking him in testimony, they said, did you fund gain of function research? Did you? And Rand Paul kept asking him, and they kept saying, no, sir, that's a conspiracy theory, and blah 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 blah. Well, they just admitted that that's right. So, I don't write off people that are defined as conspiracy theorists. I think that's bullshit when you have people that have legitimate questions, people with credentials who bring up legitimate questions, and you try to discredit their right to ask a question or to bring alternative information to the table. That same thing happened during the AIDS epidemic. They started shutting down everybody who disagreed with the Fauci crew because they were talking about how there could be a vaccine for AIDS within a year. The AZT was the solution, and AZT was killing people. It was killing people. And the doctors were like, this is killing my patients. Like, I don't want my patients taking it. They're like, you're bad, sir. That's a conspiracy theory. You shouldn't be talking about that. You're putting people's lives in danger. No, people have sense, man. And it's so it didn't surprise me that they admitted this gain of function research. I suspect fully that all this was created deliberately. And beware. China is not playing with y'all. China will blow Los Angeles off the map if they wanted to. I don't know if y'all know, China, besides biological warfare and other forms of covert warfare that countries launch against each other, like digital and all that, China just invented a hypersonic nuclear-capable missile that goes 5 times... Oh, sorry, did you want to say...
Oh, you're good. I was checking out the...
Oh, okay, cool. They just invented a hypersonic nuclear-capable missile that goes 5 times the speed of sound. The American military was stunned when China shot that missile, when they tested that missile. And they asked the expert, they said, how did they do this? They said, the guy was like, we've been trying to do this for years and we can't do it. He said, how did they do it? He said, we have no idea. They have no idea. China is going to kick America's ass, and they are, they're pretty ruthless about how they run their country. They don't have to get a vote in Congress to declare war. They make all their decisions from the top. So I kind of think this is war. Like, I really think that that the whole pandemic could very likely have been a type of warfare, because when I looked at all the indicators, economic indicators and others, China is the only major country that benefited from the pandemic. They got control of Hong Kong, because at first they could not get those people out the street. There was 1 million people in the street protesting in Hong Kong. Remember, LeBron got scared when they asked him about Hong Kong. LeBron was like, well, I ain't got nothing to say about Hong Kong, right? Because the NBA makes so much money in China. And China does things to make a point. Like, they would go and, if they felt like LeBron was anti-China, you know what they would do? They would wait till LeBron came to China, and they would detain LeBron for 2 weeks, just to show you that they don't give a fuck, right? Are you ready, baby?
I'm gonna go down this way and I'll come back.
Okay. Say hi to my friends on
Oh,
Instagram.
hey there. Got shopping to do.
Oh, where you
Here,
going?
I leave my bags here.
Okay, you got some stuff. So where you gonna go shopping?
I'm just gonna go down to Nordstrom's rack
Oh, okay.
and then I'll be back. You can stay put.
Okay, baby. I'm gonna sit right here. I'm gonna talk to my friends.
Talk to your friends.
All right, baby. See you soon. Okay. So look at it. See, this is how that shit works. Look. She got all these fancy clothes, and I got a damn bag of damn Auntie Annie's pretzel. What the hell? Oh, the cheeseburger fries will age me faster. I know, you're so right. Pauline, oh my God. I appreciate you so much for caring more about me than I care about myself. So but I think it's war. I really do. I think that you're in the middle of warfare and you don't even know it. And here's the problem. Pay attention. You gotta stop only listening to politicians who are in your political party. I listen to Rand Paul a little bit. Every now and then he says some stuff where I'm like, he's making a good point. He said the fact that they were funding gain of function research should really scare you, because he said they got viruses in the lab. He said this virus killed less than 1% of the population. He said they got viruses that will kill 30, 40, 50% of the people that get infected. So if that stuff gets released, it's not a game at that point. At that point, so I didn't go into any of this as an anti-masker or a pro-masker. I went into it as a person seeking information because I want to keep myself and my family safe. I'm not convinced that the government is gonna, or big pharma is gonna keep my family safe. So I'm not a person who is a big fan of like giving back, giving those jabs to like little 7-year-old kids and all that. I just don't. It doesn't make enough sense to me, right? But at the same time, I think you got to have an open mind. This game is deeper than what you think. So this hypersonic nuclear capable missile means that they can literally hit any spot on Earth like within a couple of minutes, and we do not have countermeasures that can detect and take down that missile. So if they decided that they were in a nuclear war with the United States, they could shoot a nuke, hit New York, and the Americans wouldn't even know that they were coming. So it's real. So that's why I believe that we have to think a little bit more about survivalism. I believe black survivalism has to be a thing. Living off the grid has to be a thing. Imagining a world with no internet, with no clean water, with no grocery stores, I think that has to be a thing. So at the convention this year, we are going to talk about survivalism, growing your own food, getting started with that, buying land, shooting a gun, things like that. Just these basic fundamental ideas of like what would happen if we were in a war, and you couldn't go down to Walmart and get the supplies you needed. Most of us are not prepared for that. We don't even have a black-owned hospital, so we got a lot of work to do. There's a long way to go. Let me see here. I'm looking for your questions. Dr. Boyce, what type of business would you open in Africa? Africa has so many different businesses. I guess maybe something that would allow people in Africa to benefit from things that we do and make in America. Import-export kind of business, I guess. I'm not sure. I got to think about that. I remember when I was in Ghana, I was thinking like it would be great to introduce fast food restaurants, in a different way in Ghana. There were some fast food, but it wasn't like it is here. The food was really slow. The restaurants were super slow, and that was really hard. I went to one restaurant. It took them 6 hours to give me my food. I couldn't believe it. I was blown away. And the worst part was I expected it to take at least 2 or 3 hours. I didn't expect 6 hours. Because that day I was really mad because I was super hungry, and I could not believe that even though we called them in advance and placed our order in advance and expected our food to be ready when we arrived, it wasn't ready. I got there like 6. My food was ready at midnight. I could not, I've never seen anything like that in my life. So I think that there's a cultural gap in terms of how quickly things get done. I'm not saying this defines all of Africa. Africa's a big place. There's a lot happening there. But I do think that there is something to the cultural gap that we're going to have to overcome to work in Africa. But I think Africa is a stronghold. I think that all of our children in the next generation, all of our kids need to be versed in Africa. They need to know about all the countries, population sizes. They need to know the countries of Africa the same way they know the 50 states. Same way you know about Vermont and Connecticut and Tennessee and Alabama. You should also know the same thing about countries in Africa, because Africa is massive. It is absolutely massive. I'd love to join your class. I want to get into the stock market. Yeah, well, just go into the bio. There's a link in the bio for every single, but not everything, but there's a lot of the stuff that we offer. It's up there in the bio, so feel free to check that out, including the convention. Let me see. Next question. I'm scrolling. In the gym, best medicine. Yes. Gotta go to the gym. I gotta go running today. When am I coming to Camden, New Jersey? No time soon, Razor. I don't have any plans to come to Camden. I was gonna come to New York, but I don't know. I didn't get the jab, so I don't know if I'm welcome in New York. Like I don't know what the rules are. But right now I'm sitting back, kind of like I'm kind of doing my Kyrie Irving for a little while. But maybe that'll change. I'm gonna let it play itself out and see how it goes. Dr. Boyce, I'm from Portland, Oregon, and we have 0 representatives for our people. Yeah, I went to Portland. Why did I go to Portland? Isn't it like Nike up there in Portland? Yeah, when I went to meet with the CEO of the Jordan brand. His name's Larry Miller. He's in Sports Illustrated right now. Larry's a good guy, very smart, and we've been friends for a few years now. And he actually just admitted that he killed somebody in the 1960s, which was a big deal. But yeah, Portland's a nice place, but you're right, it is kind of a mess. What day and date are you coming back down to Atlanta? Atlanta, I don't know. I'm gonna say before the end of the year. I gotta go, and I'm not doing my house closing in Atlanta, but I want to see the house, so we might try to go down there for Christmas or something. You know, Atlanta has Lil Nas X Day. I don't know if y'all saw that. Lil Nas X has a day because he's such a black leader. Atlanta needs to be ashamed of themselves for that bullshit. What type of business? Oh, you already asked that question about Africa. Okay. If I can get 200 acres, would that be big enough to hold the campus for the Black Business School? Yeah. I mean, if you get 200 acres, I'll pay for that land. If you help us build, we will gladly put some skin in the game. We won't just sit there and let you do all the work. It's tough raising money, but we don't have a problem investing in ourselves and investing in the community. What type of business to open around 10K to start up? Maybe something digital would be good. Andre Hatchett has the Notary School. That's really good. You know, I would try my best not to use up all my cash though to get my business going. I would try to get in a group. Like I'm a believer in investment groups. Like, you know, getting together with a group of people and coming up with an idea together, and then formulating how you can get the resources to execute the idea together. That's what I've seen in terms of things that work. We are free in the state of Oregon. I'm surprised it's even that high. Off topic, I have a question about the A, B, and C. I DM'd you earlier, missed your live. Okay, Pan Warrior, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a link to the Q&A for the A, B, and C in the bio, and because we did an hour and a half Q&A, and so we answered 1,000,001 questions about what the attire needs to be. You know, the B1 ball is going to be fancy. You know, like kind of, you know, like Sunday's best, right? But the rest of the convention, you can dress how you want. We do have the backyard barbecue. We have breakout sessions during the day. We're going to try our best to over communicate. If you go to allblacknationalconvention.com, the website, the link is in the bio. You can see kind of how the layout's going to be. And there's also a virtual ticket. So if you can't make it physically, we do have a virtual option as well if you'd like to join us virtually. Let me see here. Let me keep going. I'm scrolling. And he lied and lied. Oh, Fauci. Yep. Now he's trying to say Wuhan lied. Yeah. It's bullshit. I don't believe these people. I just don't. They're liars, all of them. It's crazy. Time always tells if there's something to tell. Yeah, I agree. I took one jab, not taking the second. You know what? I have a relative artist, very close relative who I trust very much, who took the first jab, and something happened with his heart, and they had to rush him to the hospital. And I said, "You gonna get the second one?" He said, "No." He said, "I got too scared. I thought I was gonna die." And I know another person very close. These are people that are right in my immediate family. I know a 29-year-old who had a stroke. Now, of course, she could have just had a stroke. But how many of y'all, do y'all know any 29-year-olds who have strokes? That doesn't happen. I've never in my life met a 29-year-old who had a stroke. Marco Hill had a heart attack at 42. I have seen people at 42 have heart attacks. I'm not talking about celebrities. I'm not talking about like Big Pun. I didn't know Big Pun. I'm talking about people that you know directly, that you can pick up the phone and call, right? I think Marco Hill's blood clot in his heart attack, I wish him the best. I don't wish this on anyone. Mark is a son of a bitch, but I don't want bad things to happen to anybody. You gonna tell me that all this is a coincidence? Come on, man. I had another friend that had the blood clots, and every single one of them said the same thing. When I said, is it connected to that jab? They were all like, no, it's not the jab. That's the fact that all of us we tend to all go into denial. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying it's weird. It's suspicious. It doesn't make sense to me. So I think everything's rare though. I think that, whatever decision a person makes is not that big of a deal in my view, because let's say you get the jab. Well, your odds of having a horrible side effect are not that high. It's probably less than one half of 1%, right? So the jab is probably not going to hurt you. Let's say you don't get the jab. Well, your odds of dying from the virus are 1/5 of 1%. You're probably going to be okay. So whatever decision you make should be yours because it's not a big deal. It's really not going to make a difference in your life for 99.9% of us. So the fact that the government's mandating it is bullshit. And the reason they're mandating these things is because while you might only have a 1/5 of 1% chance of dying from the virus, they have 100% chance of making another $50-100 billion from making the whole population, from disrupting the lives of 300 million people to make everybody do the same thing, right? When everybody is forced to buy the same product, Big Pharma gets mega rich, and Big Pharma controls the government. They can't fight Big Pharma. Obama tried to do healthcare reform. He could not fight Big Pharma. He just had to get in bed with them. Big Pharma is like Big Worm. They Debo. They're just like, well, if you want to have a bed, you can get in the bed with me and let me screw you. But there is no like disconnecting our government officials from the massive economic and lobbying power of Big Pharma. That's your problem. That's why I don't trust these sons of bitches. Let me see here. Let me keep going. History repeats itself. Yes, it does. Oh, Older Methuselah says, hey, wifey. Save your money, brother. Yeah. They're amazing. They are. Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of work. It was very embarrassing. People made fun of me. I looked on the internet. I typed my name, and Google autocompletes, and literally it said Boyce Watkins, and every autocomplete was like something where people just decided to like make fun of me, right? So one of them was like Boyce Watkins' teeth, and another was like Boyce Watkins' wife. Another one was Boyce Watkins' simp. Another was Boyce Watkins' Kwame Brown. And I said, ain't this some shit? Oh my God. I guess that's the up and down of, we work hard so people recognize what we do or whatever. And, it comes with a lot of interesting experiences that I'd love to tell y'all about. But after a while, you get so used to it, you're just like, well, I guess that's the way it is. Because I'd rather be impactful and have some people get mad about it or make fun of me than to not be impactful at all and have nobody know anything about anything that I do, right? So that's what you do. I mean, when you have a million people that know your name or a few million or whatever, not everybody's gonna like you, right? So that's life. That's kind of what it is. Unfortunately, my wife handles it really well. Because there was a time where I was wondering how she was going to respond, because Kwame Brown did, I think, about 8 videos about my wife, and they were really disrespectful and derogatory, and it was very unfortunate because we have a lot of mutual friends like Judge Joe Brown and I think Jason Whitlock talks to him, and I know Jason, and I know guys that play with him at the Wizards. And I was like, why is this guy talking about my wife and he doesn't know my wife? He's never met her. And why would you be making these things up about a black woman? Like, what's, that was, but you know what? I was really impressed because she didn't care. She was just like, well, he's mentally ill. So that's what, maybe smoking something and drinking something. That's what people do when they get high and drunk and they get on the internet or whatever. But the thing about him is you could tell he's really hurt. He's still really hurt because for 20 years, people just made fun of him. Like he was known as a loser, right, in general. So I think now that he's not seen that way, now that he's got like this internet platform, it's like, I'm gonna go get revenge on all the people that used to make fun of me or whatever. And I was like, bro, I did not make fun of you. I was actually cheering for you. But it comes with the territory. It was a lost opportunity though. But then again though, sometimes when people show you who they are, it's a blessing, because then I didn't make the mistake of trying to like align with him and work with him, because some of these people on the internet are crazy. Some of them, and I've seen it up close. I mean, I've seen people where I've supported them publicly and later on they would come out and start doing some real crazy shit, and I'll be like, okay, boy, you're being too nice. You like being too helpful to too many people. So I've had to actually have a mental health check on people. Like, so my wife, with her being a mental health professional, I run people by her now. Now I'll be like, I'm thinking about working with this person. What do you see? And she'll be like, don't work with that person. He's showing symptoms of boom, boom, boom. And then somebody else, she'll be like, oh yeah, her energy's good. She's what she's doing is blah, blah, blah. And she seems like blah, blah, blah. So that really actually helps me. So literally being honest with you, I have learned one of the biggest things I've learned about being like in the public space, on the internet space, internet public, whatever that is their mental health is a real problem in our community. There are a lot of people online who are just literally fucking flat out crazy. And the reason they become so popular is because of how crazy they are. So they get on the internet and they start cussing people out, having meltdowns, going ballistic, literally showing bipolar tendencies that make mental health professionals say, holy shit. And everybody loves it because a lot of our community is crazy. Like, we identify with crazy, and crazy is exciting. Crazy is more interesting than stable. So if you look online, what you'll notice is in the backdrop of all the crazy people cussing each other out, traumatizing the shit out of each other or whatever, you'll have these professionals, these mental health professionals, licensed motherfuckers with masters and PhDs who are doing content, and nobody's paying attention. Why is that? Well, because when a healthy person shows up, we see that as boring. And I found that we do that in a lot of our relationships. Dating crazy people is really exciting. When it's going good, it's going really good. Like that crazy woman, I don't know about the guys in the room, but here's a secret. And women probably have their own corollary of this. When I was young, I realized I used to joke and say, I think crazy women have the best sex, right? They just lose their mind, right? Well, I bet it's true for crazy men too. Maybe crazy men are fun, you know, like he's a thug, he kills people, so that's exciting, girl. You know, like I don't want to date an accountant, I want to date the guy that's got the gun on his hip. He might shoot me. I thought he's gonna choke me to death. You know, so it's like what I found is that part of your maturity, in my view, is to get to the point where you know how to balance between what you want and what you need. What tastes good and feels good versus what is good for you. It's just the same way I have to choose my food, right? Like I told you guys about how I came to the mall today and I ate an Auntie Annie's pretzel, right? And some of y'all were giving me a grief about eating the pretzel and the fact that I ate the pretzel and all that. And you're 100% correct. I shouldn't be eating pretzels and cheeseburgers that often, but every now and then I want a pretzel and I want a cheeseburger. But also this week, I spent 4 days eating super healthy food and eating almost nothing, like fasting, so I could lose weight so that my body could be in balance. So I think life is the same way. It's always about that balance. And a lot of people, I don't think, achieve balance. And when you're off balance, you're not happy. Like you feel frazzled, and it's something that takes time to adjust to. But I just remember, even in my own life, when I was adjusting to so-called internet fame, whatever that is, and dealing with meeting different people and stuff that I didn't understand, I remember sitting there. It was about 2015, and I remember sitting there just thinking, I feel off balance. I feel fat, like I'm overweight. So I was fat and unhealthy, I had high blood pressure. I had people in my life that were literally getting on my last fucking nerve. And I was like, I gotta cut these people off. I had stuff going on with my team that wasn't making me happy. I just felt off balance, you know? And I had to take time to reestablish that balance in order for me to move forward. And that's what I believe. I think that in order to go to that next level in your life, you've got to find a balance with the level that you're on, right? And then, because if you're always off balance, it's almost like a basketball or a football team. If the football team is always on their heels and always off balance and always reacting to whatever the other team did, they can't really actually win the game, because you're always like, you know, they just got you knocked on your heels, right? So life sometimes does that. Life can just knock you off balance and keep you off balance, and then you find that your life doesn't make any progress. So sometimes you got to take a step back, do a retreat, you know, just sit alone or whatever, you know, disconnect for a little while, cut off social media, get away from people, and find yourself so you can look and see your life from a higher dimension. It's like you elevate, right? That's a literal, I think that's a very literal thing. When I think about that, I literally see that, right? So you imagine if you're like an ant and you live in a two-dimensional world. All you can see is everything around you that's at the height of an ant, right? And so you see ants over here and ants over there, but you can't make sense of it all. It seems like chaos. Imagine if that ant could take a moment and you elevate that ant and you take him into the third dimension. You lift him up above the landscape, and now he's not with the other ants. He's looking down at the other ants, and he can see patterns and formations. He can say, okay, you know, the army ants are over here, and the black ants are over there, and the Mexican ants are over here, and he can understand the situation better, so that when you put him back down with the other ants, he knows exactly how the game is played, how everything's sort of forming itself. So I think life is the same way. When you take that moment, the things like meditation or going into vacuum chambers, or just backing away from it all and kind of looking at your life from a distance, those are really powerful tools to help you reestablish balance with your world and with the universe. It allows you to really put it all into perspective so that you can then take yourself to that next level. Because a lot of people's lives are not going the way. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a yes if you can still hear me. Can you still hear me? Because a lot of times when somebody calls, it turns off the volume. Hold on, let me try this. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Hey, what's going on, man? Hello from London. Yeah, so take that time to like go back, and that'll allow you to understand your life a lot better. Blessing says, Doc, could you cut back on the profanity because your platform has a wide variety of human audience? I now know that you have a lot of good content, but please consider your audience as well. I try not to cuss, Blessing, but honestly, I just learned slowly that I just don't give a fuck, and also it's just who I am. I can't be anything other than what I am. So what I try to do is I bring people on who don't cuss at all. And it's just, it would not make any sense for me to try to be something that I am. Oh, don't cover the mic with your hand. Thank you. My mic is. Can you hear me? The volume's low. Okay, can you hear me now? Am I coming through okay? Let me know if you can hear me. No sound? Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get on out of here. Let me. I don't think it's covering the mic now. Can you hear me now? It's better? Okay, sorry about that. Thank you for telling me. I had no idea. But yeah, so try that technique. Take a step back, and that'll allow you to understand your life a whole lot better. Gotta cut those nose hairs. Yeah, you're right. I guess I do. Were you able to settle it at the Maj Toure event? Can you support the legal defense funds for GMJ, Ozone, and Spike? I don't know anything about those. And no, I did not see Kwame at the Maj Toure event. I didn't. It's like there's levels of decency to things, and if you get to the point where a man has said really terrible things about your wife, and he doesn't, and he doesn't apologize for that, then you can't. Some things are hard to come back from. It's like, and he don't seem like the apologizing type. So I'm not gonna ask him to do that. And also, given that I witnessed some things that concern me, I don't think I want to try to have an ally who might just flip and go ballistic and start stabbing his former friends in the back like that. That's not a person that I want to be aligned with. So it's okay. People can, work and do their own thing, and I don't wish any ill on anybody, but it just didn't. It was all kind of silly to me. Doctor, you are a great source of inspiration. Thanks for your service. You are welcome. You're welcome. It's time to move on. I agree. You just move on. You just keep it moving. Let's see here. I truly love your transparency. Please keep it going. Okay, Brick House. Well, being transparent is fun. It's nice to be honest, and that way you ain't got to keep up with a bunch of lies. I'm black. I'm blickety black. I'm blickety black, y'all. What was that? That was CB4. Who talked about wifey? That was an early part of the conversation. So I'm not gonna bring it back up. But yeah, I think that just a little tip: if you want to learn who you want to align yourself with, whether it's like in a relationship or a friendship or anything, watch how they treat their worst enemy. Watch how they treat their enemies, and then also pay attention to how long their friendships last. If somebody is constantly beefing with everybody, or they used to be friends with somebody and they were friends with somebody in March and they're beefing with them in April, that means that the chances are the person's got a volatility issue or an immaturity issue or a mental health issue that it's going to cause you problems. The best types of people to work with, to build with, are solid people that are consistent, people that are the same all the time, no matter what. That means if things are good, they're the same. If things are bad, they're the same. And they're not gonna freak out and go crazy in one direction or the other, right? And I found that those are the people you can really work with. And I've just learned this from watching certain people. I'll tell you, I give a lot of credit to Russell Simmons because Russell, the only reason Russell Simmons knew about me is because I criticized him so bad back in 2009, 2010 about the rush card. And I was really impressed. I mean, I almost felt small with the way he let it it was water under the bridge for him. And he said, how are we going to work together to get these brothers out of prison? I was so impressed. You want to talk about making somebody sit back and reflect? I felt really bad. I was like, wow, okay, this is what manhood looks like, right? And I gave him so much credit for that. And so I think in general, if you want my suggestion on the types of people to work with, just work with people that are like, if they get upset, they're not going to go ballistic and destroy you or destroy everything that, whatever. Or if you see them, like, if they had companies do this. If you go to a company, if you go to Coke and you say, I used to work at Pepsi, fuck Pepsi, I hate Pepsi, I can give you all Pepsi secrets, Pepsi ain't shit. Well, if you're smart, you'll never work with that person. Because that means that tells you what their character is. That's their integrity level. Or if you start dating somebody who's cheating on their husband or cheating on their wife, why in the world would you be surprised when they cheat on you? The person is a cheater. That's what they do. They're a deceiver. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, you are a power couple. Thank you very much. I will tell my wife you said that. When do you think Umar opens his school? Maybe it'll be the same time Jesus comes back. But I tell you what, King Randall opened that school and he did the damn thing. Also, what's that school in Chicago? Freedom Home Academy. I gave money to them. I gave Umar School like $25, but I gave Freedom Home Academy $5,000. And my cousin gave them some money too. And the reason I gave money to Freedom Home Academy is because they are already operating. They have been educating kids, hundreds of kids every year. They're educating them at a very high level. I took my cousin to a showcase that they had, and it blew us away. I mean, these little black kids were 5 years old, and they were reciting like deep concepts in biology and black history, and it was so impressive. It was so inspirational. And in fact, I got to reach out to the president, Marcus Klein, because I want to do something else. I want to try to find a way to replicate his model, because the man figured it out. Educating black kids ain't that hard. You just got to love them. So let me see here. People who still blame others. Yeah, people who blame other people for everything that's wrong in their life, that's just generally an immaturity issue. It's a lack of accountability. Russell Simmons is a good picture of growth, of how money can elevate you mentally. Yeah, Russell's real, he's like hippie zen and stuff, and his brain operates very quickly. When he would just call me and just, like, once every 6 months he would call me and like talk for 20 minutes straight and then say he had to go. And I wouldn't say a word. I'd just sit there and listen. I'd be like, all right, well, take care, man. That was it. So, you funny, Doc, and you seem humble. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that, Lulabelle. I like that you don't fall for the mess of white supremacy and you keep it real. Yeah, life's too short to pretend to be something that you're not. Umar will never open a school. He's a sad brother. I wish him the best. I hope he does. But I think that black leadership. Hey, how are you?
All the time.
How are you? Thank
Love
you.
you. It's a pleasure to see
Oh,
you.
the pleasure's all mine.
All
Good
right.
to see you, sister.
Thank
I like that flashy mask you got on. Looking stylish.
Hey, it's been a while.
There you go, girl. Nice to meet you. Take care. Sorry. King Randall is not FBA. King Randall is a great guy. I don't care if he's FBA or not. He's a great guy. I'm more. I support the diaspora, man. I'm not into like alienating black people who want to be our allies just because they weren't born here. I'm not making fun of anybody who disagrees. I'm just saying we got enough enemies. I'm not gonna make an enemy out of another black person who's trying to be my friend. I'm just not. That's just my 2 cents. Wait a minute, let me see here. We need to get our children out of public schools. Yes, I agree 100%. Since the right-wing white families are against CRT. Yeah, well, the thing is that right-wing families are against critical race theory, and you are right about that. But then left-wing people are teaching our kids a bunch of bullshit that indoctrinates them into an integrationist mentality that has led to epic failure in the black community. So I just think black people need to be the ones educating black children. And not just all black people, but black people with an ideology that is consistent with your own. So I'm a black nationalist, I would say. Powernomics, Malcolm X, Do for Self. Our Black Core of 3 in the Black Business School is educate our own children, create our own jobs, support Black businesses. I believe in that form of sovereignty. I know that this ideology is not one that's going to work for everybody. It tends to work for the people that I consider to be the talented 10th. And when I say the talented 10th, I'm talking about people who are in the top 10% of vision, who are in the top 10% of courage, who are in the top 10% of free thinking, in terms of open-mindedness. They're not brainwashed. They believe that they can do it. They don't hold white people on a pedestal, but they don't sit around mad at white people either. And this is not something that's going to apply for everybody, right? But, it's in a way you're like the pioneers. You're the ones that I think, well, your children, because of the spiritual energy you're going to put in them, they're going to be the ones who are going to build the 10, 100, $50 billion corporations in the future, right? But you have to make sure that you infuse in them this spirit of Black independence that leads to the development of long-term sustainable systematic structures that can change the lives of thousands of people, not just make them into more Negroes who are seeking jobs or seeking external validation or trying to get famous on TV for doing absolutely nothing. So educating our own children is essential. Even Black people miseducate the shit out of Black children sometimes, in my view, my worldview. I'm not happy. I wasn't happy when I would see that Howard University doesn't invite Dr. Claude Anderson to ever come speak on their campus. Why not? What's wrong with Powernomics? Because, I don't understand that, right? So, I just really think, I think we can do this. I think we have a better model. Our model's proven to work. Most of the people that I tend to run around with, they don't walk around oppressed. They're not part of they're not just part of that whole Black Lives Matter crowd. They believe Black Lives Matter, but in a different way. They build stable families. They're not, sitting around complaining that white people control every ounce of their existence. They're just living their best life. So that's what I want. I want you to live your best life. Doctor, how about the All Black National Convention in the UK and other parts of the world, including Africa? I want now traveling overseas is complex. And the last time I was in London is so great. I just love, when I think about Black London, I smile because those Black people were so warm to me. They were so warm to me, I felt guilty. And the reason I felt guilty is I said the whole time I've been an arrogant American only thinking about what's going on here. And I had all these people in London who embraced me with open arms. I've had 2 events in London. Both of them were completely sold out. Everybody showed up. And it was a different experience also because some of that dysfunctionality, like in the United States, you have a lot of kids that don't come from full families. In London, there were actually full families popping up to get their book signed. The whole line would be full of like mother, father, child in almost every scenario, right? And I see some of that here, more than in typical places, right? But it's not as prevalent, right? And so Black London, one limitation though is that they don't have as much of an entrepreneurial energy there as I might see here. But in terms of like just being solid people that you can build with, who have a minimal amount of the psychological dysfunction that many of us in America have, from slavery and all that, I was very impressed. And I love London. And so when I was in London last time, I was actually detained at the airport, and they held me for like 10 hours. They put me in like not a cell. It was kind of like a cell. I couldn't talk on the phone. And I was like, what did I do? And they wouldn't tell me. I didn't do anything. I guess just being there is what did it. So that was tough. That was traumatic for my team. But despite that, I had a great time there. And I would love to do a convention in London, or just have an event there. So once the pandemic is done, I will be back in Europe. So that's going to happen. I just want to wait for all this stuff to kind of die down. I'm learning so much about loving my own black people from you. Oh, well, you're welcome. So happy that I was able to help you with that. Let's see. Amisha says, especially for the slave mentality of black folks. Yes, slave mentality is so real. Doctor, we need you. Well, I need you too. And I hope if anything ever happens to me, you know, if you appreciate anything that's said on this platform, you'll share it with somebody. You know, I'm always planning for my death. You know, so I want to be ready. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. MZ says, exactly. It's time to get away from the pre-programmed agenda that our people have been a part of for too long. Your information is very much appreciated. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. You also need to have an event in South Africa because you're like a national leader out there. I was in South Africa, and I have a friend that lives in Botswana, which is very close. And I did go to South Africa and Botswana in 2014. So I'm overdue for another trip, and I would love to do an event in South Africa. So now that you said that, I'm going to message my friend Nomalanga and see what we can come up with, because I would love a reason to go out there. Because the cool thing about going to South Africa was I was in Chicago, and there's like 2 or 3 feet of snow, and it's like freezing cold. It's like 5 degrees outside. And we drive through to O'Hare Airport through all this snow and ice and everything. And then when we landed in South Africa, it's like 98 degrees. It was so crazy. It was such a change. And I just loved it. Why as black folks do we beg too much? I don't know. I'm not begging. Let's see. I share your platform and messages all the time. Thank you. You're an amazing inspiration. Thank you for your service. Please come to NYC. We need you. Well, I don't have the jab yet, so I got to see how they treat people who didn't get the jab. But in New York, the event in New York was great. Brooklyn is a really great place. Like whenever we go to Brooklyn, we always have like so many people that come out. So I definitely want to go back to Brooklyn. Brooklyn's like my top 5 as far as cities. That happened to me when I was held for hours. My friends went to do their hair for a fashion show, and they didn't believe us. I tweeted, and the lady came, a black lady came in and said, we saw that you tweeted about being detained, and you cannot do that anymore, or we're going to take away your passport, or something. It was something crazy like that. It was really very Gestapo-ish. I'm waiting for the event in Chicago. Yeah, I need to do something in Chicago, and I live so close, there's no excuse. Let me see. Come to Kenya. Are you in Kenya? Oh, Kenya. I want to learn more about Kenya. I've heard good things about Kenya. Very smart people in Kenya. Come to DC. Yeah, I love DC. God bless DC. All right, you know what, guys? I'm going to get out of here. So I hope you'll consider joining us for the convention. You can find the link in the bio. And if you can't make the convention physically, there is a virtual ticket. And if you can't make the virtual tickets for the convention, or that's not of interest to you, just look down the list. There's lots of stuff we have going on, and we'd love to have you sign up for some stuff. So God bless you, everybody. And you say come to Rochester. I lived in Rochester for a year. Man, y'all got too much snow. Good Lord. Oh, but yeah, I know all about Rochester. I went to the University of Rochester for a year. So take care, everybody. Love you. God bless you, and I'll see y'all later.